More than a month into the Marawi crisis, no let-up in military efforts to regain the war-torn city. But local officials are calling for a ceasefire to give way to the end of Ramadan or Eid al-Fitr. Camila Badisho joins us live from Iligan City. Camille, how intense are the operations against the terrorists?
The mounted terrorists further destroys the remaining structures in Marawi City as they use fuel bombs and LPG to burn down buildings as they fight the government troops. Massive clouds of black smoke are visible in this area of the city center of Marawi, where the military continues to fight the terrorists. While the military clears buildings and houses in the main area of battle, the police conducts clearing operations in the areas now controlled by government forces. Members of the PNP Drug Enforcement Group of Mindanao recovered 5 kilograms of shabu Saturday afternoon while scouring through 2 abandoned houses occupied by Maute Group in the early days of the crisis. The owners of these houses, former Marawi City Mayor Sultan Fahad Salik and incumbent Vice Mayor Arafat Salik.
Drug lord din siya. Kasama rin siya sa mga high-value target natin dito sa Marawi. Kasama siya sa mga may arrest order. Alam naman natin yan na sila former Mayor Salik and then yung mga kapatid niya is known drug lords dito sa Marawi.
Aside from the 5 kilograms of high-grade shabu worth 25 million pesos, authorities also recovered drug paraphernalia and ISIS propaganda materials.
Doon sa bahay mismo ni Mayor Salik, makikita natin na nakarecover tayo ng mga foil. Then doon sa loob ng bahay niya may mga nakasulat, I love ISIS. Ibig sabihin na dun kasi ang nag-staging area yung mga ISIS doon sa bahay niya, sa loob ng MSU compound.
The same drug enforcement group recovered 2 kilograms of shabu and other drug paraphernalia at the house of ex-Marawi City Mayor Omar Ali Solitario Friday morning. Meanwhile, the province of Lanao del Sur and the ad hoc joint advocacy group of MILF and the government of the Philippines are requesting for a ceasefire on Eid al-Fitr or the end of Ramadan.
We are hoping that we could use the occasion to send our message to our security partners, the AFP and the PNP, if possible, that we hold a ceasefire tomorrow. And also the OPAP and the AJAG are also working on the possibility of, again, using the occasion also to rescue some trapped civilians in the encounter area.
Ramadan ends on Monday. It's actually a very spiritual and festive celebration among Muslims. The evacuation centers in Marawi City as well as here in Iligan are planning to hold a simple celebration for the displaced residents from Marawi City. Meanwhile, the provincial government of Lanao del Sur launched a fundraiser called We Are Marawi. They're selling t-shirts for 299 pesos, and we're showing you right now the contact details should you wish to place your orders. All the proceeds from this fundraiser will go to the evacuees from Marawi City. Mai?
Camille, how's the security in Marawi when it comes to civilians trying to enter the city to extend help?
The security checkpoints going to Marawi City remain very tight, very strict. And the only people allowed to enter the city are humanitarian and social workers, rescue volunteers, and the media. Mai?
Camila Badisho reporting live from Iligan City. The palace welcomes developments on the Marawi operations, including the recovery of illegal drugs in the area. Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella says this recent development reveals the ties between the illegal drug trade and the ongoing rebellion in Marawi City. The government boosts efforts in preventing more foreign terrorists from entering the country. One way to do that, joint maritime patrols of the Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia to stop foreign terrorists from taking advantage of the country's south porous border. 40 foreign terrorists are believed to be in the country, most of them Indonesians. Malaysians, Arabs, Yemenis, and Pakistanis account for the others. Meanwhile, as far as the Indonesian Defense Ministry is concerned, 1,200 ISIS operatives, who also include Indonesians, are in the Philippines. But AFP Chief Eduardo Año is disputing this, saying these combatants are not ISIS, but from local terror groups.
Pag inad po yung yung Maute, BIFF, Abu Sayyaf, at saka AKP. Abutin pa siya ng 1,300. Sa tingin nila, ISIS lahat yun. Pero sa atin, hindi yan ISIS kasi mga locals yun. Although they pledge allegiance to the ISIS.
The more ISIS supporters in the Philippines, the higher their chances of setting up a hub in the country. To prevent this, the palace calls on Filipinos to stand up against ISIS.
We have people coming from the outside because they believe in a strong narrative. They have a very strong story that they want to establish a province in Southeast Asia and specifically in the Philippines. I believe this is also, in a sense, a wake-up call for Filipinos to be able to come together.
Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella said in today's Mindanao Hour they are validating reports that 89 foreign terrorists remain in Mindanao. We spoke with AFP spokesperson Brigadier General Restituto Padilla earlier. He said this remains an estimate.
Yes, the figures that we're sticking to are mere estimates, mine, and the figures released by General Anyo are the same figures that we still maintain. And in fact, the figures are really of no matter to us. The important thing here is that we have information on the presence of foreign fighters in the area of engagement, particularly in the area of or the battle zones of Marawi.
As to what is expected from the Maute group after Ramadan, Padilla says the terrorists may intensify their offensives.
Now, as to the heightened engagement that the terrorists have after Ramadan, we do anticipate a small increase, potentially, but based on the manner by which they have been fighting the last few days, we think they are capable of launching any bigger activities or engagements other than those that they have already carried before. But we're ready for it, and our troops are well in place to deal with any kind of heightened hostilities if they do have the capability to do so.
The Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process, or OPAP, questions the offensives by NPA forces in different parts of the country. It says these cast doubt on whether or not peace talks with the CPP, NPA, and the NDFP should push through. It adds it is disturbing that the attacks come after NDF leaders ordered the rebels to stop offensives so troops can focus on fighting terrorists in Marawi. This week, NPA rebels clashed with soldiers in Alimohan, Iloilo. That led to the suspension of classes. Alleged rebels also burned heavy equipment in Palawan and killed a sugarcane farmer in Negros Occidental. Here in Metro Manila, police say there is no terrorist threat to the celebration of Eid al-Fitr. That's according to National Capital Region Police Office Chief Oscar Albayalde. He says they have not received any information on terrorist plans to attack the metropolis, but police forces have been deployed in key locations as early as Saturday. This after an unverified memorandum from the Valenzuela police station revealed the alleged plans of the Maute terror group to bomb several areas in Manila, including Quiapo. It's where the biggest mosque in Manila is located. Muslims will gather in Rizal Park for an overnight prayer on Sunday night to mark the end of Ramadan. Over 400 policemen will be deployed to secure the area. Telecom companies Globe and Smart offer free calls and texts to members of the military and civilians in Marawi City. This is available to Globe prepaid customers for calls to Globe and Touch Mobile, while Smart users can make free calls to Smart, Talk and Text and Sun subscribers. This will help the estimated 300 to 500 civilians still trapped in the war-torn city to reach their loved ones. The offer runs for 15 days starting June 22 for Globe and June 23 for Smart. When the newsroom returns, police seize 60 million pesos worth of suspected shabu in Zamboanga City. And over 100 people are still missing after a landslide in China. Newsroom Weekend will be back after this quick break. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. viewers live on Facebook, we have the biggest story today from Camille Abadisio, the latest developments in the fighting in Marawi. Of course, the government forces are still trying to retake the city from the mounted terrorists and foreign terrorists said to be aiding them. Of course, this comes as the end of Ramadan or Eid al-Fitr is approaching, and with that, regarding that, the celebration of Eid al-Fitr, local officials in Lanao del Sur have in fact called for a ceasefire for the celebrations of the end of Ramadan. That's the request of the province of Lanao del Sur and the ad hoc joint advocacy group of the MILF and the government of the Philippines. We'd like to say hi to some of our viewers watching us now from Kuwait, from Saudi Arabia, and from Sevilla, Bohol. I've been reading all of your messages. This message from Joel Boris Halanya. He says, I salute you, soldiers. Almighty God, Jesus Christ, be with you always. Marami sa inyo sending their comments and sharing their thoughts and prayers for the safety of our troops fighting in Marawi. Also, hello to Joyce Fronda and Luchi Melchor watching us from Japan. Good evening to all of you. Coming up, more stories. Also, how Muslims will be celebrating the Eid al-Fitr, and many festivities also happening today, like the feast of the John the Baptist, the feast day of John the Baptist that happened in San Juan today for the Wata Wata festival. Stay tuned for that. This is Newsroom Weekend on CNN Philippines. Welcome back. Police seized 60 million pesos worth of suspected shabu in Zamboanga City. 3 drug suspects were also arrested in a buy-bust operation this morning. The drugs were recovered inside a residential area in Barangay Sinunok. In China, more than 140 people are feared buried in a landslide in Sichuan province. State-run China Central Television reported about 40 homes were destroyed in Jinmo village after the side of a mountain collapsed. Chinese President Xi Jinping has ordered all-out efforts to save those who were buried. Sichuan province has a history of landslides triggered by heavy rains and earthquakes. The deadliest, the Great Wenchuan earthquake in 2008, where some 87,000 people were killed. Saudi security forces foil an attack on the Grand Mosque in Mecca. The country's interior ministry says a suspect in the planned attack blew himself up when security forces closed in on him. The building where the suspect was hiding collapsed after the explosion. 6 expatriates and 5 security personnel were injured, while 5 people supposedly involved in the plot were arrested. The Grand Mosque, or the Masjid al-Haram, is the largest mosque in the world. It's around Islam's holiest site, the Kaaba, a shrine that worshippers circle during the Hajj, the annual pilgrimage that brings millions of people to Mecca. The Social Welfare Department holds a Single Parents Day. This served as an opportunity for solo parents to take advantage of free services, but also to raise their concerns, such as seeking discounts and more benefits for them and their children. Anjo Alimario has more.
For the first time, the Department of Social Welfare and Development opened its doors to single parents. Janice Odog, a single parent to 5 children, says this event means so much to her.
Mahalaga po talaga para sa amin kasi po mahirap na ng pambiling gamot. Tulad sa amin na kapos ng pambili ng gamot.
Odog was able to have her 2 kids checked by a doctor for free, and it came with free medicine. She admits raising them is not easy, especially now that she's on her own.
Napakahirap po talaga kasi kamamatay lang ng papa nila noong August 10, 2016. Hirap talaga. Hirap na hirap. Pero kinakaya ko lang para sa kanila.
Federation of Solo Parents Luz Women President Carrie Javier says single parents are one of the most vulnerable and marginalized sectors in the country. As of 2017, Javier says there are around 15 to 16 million single parents in the country. But what's alarming, Javier explains, is the increasing number of younger single parents. Ruth Loso was only 16 when she got pregnant. Her partner left her before she could even deliver her baby.
Sobrang hirap, tapos nagpapaaral ka pa. Kailangan talaga malakas din yung katawan mo para masuportahan din siya.
Javier says they are pushing for amendments in the Solo Parents Welfare Act.
Kagaya po ng discounts. 20% discount po sa basic commodities, sa gamot, hospitalization, laboratory fees, tuition.
Javier says they've been assured by lawmakers, including Senator Tito Soto, to help pass these amendments. Soto drew flack in May after a remark to Social Welfare Secretary Judy Tagaywalo over being a single parent. Soto had since apologized for his comments and promised to support single parents. Javier meanwhile appeals to the local and national governments to address a host of concerns of solo parents, including trafficking, teenage pregnancy, cyberpornography, and child prostitution. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
LGBT members gather for one of the biggest and most colorful events in the community, the Metro Manila Pride March. And this year's march has a special message for those still in the closet. Ivy Sonar joins us on the line from Marikina. Ivy, tell us about the celebrations today.
Well, Mai, it's a happy day for members of the LGBT community as they gather here in Marikina for the Metro Manila Pride March. Hundreds of lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders paraded the streets in their colorful costumes. They danced and cheered and enjoyed the afternoon with their fellow LGBT. Some gays even dressed up like beauty queens and stood proud wearing crowns. This year's Pride March aims to encourage LGBTs to come out and celebrate love. Many of the participants brought placards with them. Some of the interesting phrases we read include, "Sorry Ma, love you," "Closets are for shirts, not for gays," and "Jake Zyrus," cute name. If you can remember, singer and lesbian Charisse Pempenko recently changed her screen name to Jake Zyrus. Anti-LGBTs are also present here. They say they are preachers from different churches. They held huge placards which say, "God will judge the sexually immoral," and "It's not okay to be gay. It's a sin." They also preached while the LGBT community paraded the streets. Meanwhile, Senator Rita Ontiveros also graced the event. Mike?
Thank you, Ivy Sonar, there reporting to us from Marikina. Still ahead, more colorful festivities will take you to San Juan City that celebrated the feast of St. John the Baptist. And Doctors Vicky Bello and Hayden Ko finally tie the knot. This is Newsroom Weekend on CNN Philippines. Stay tuned. Live on Facebook. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have a lot of our kababayans watching us from all over the world. Our loyal viewers, maraming salamat po for joining us tonight. You just heard about many festivities today, the celebrations of the Gay Pride. There was a Gay Pride parade in Marikina, and coming up, the Wata Wata Festival held in the city of San Juan. That report will be given to us by Rex Remito, who covered the events today. And also in Balayan, Batangas, there's a parada ng lechon. I'm sure you'll be interested to see that. And of course, the biggest news in showbiz, celebrity doctors Vicky Bello and Hayden Ko finally tied the knot. It was a civil wedding, and we'll give you more details in the next 6 minutes or 7 minutes of the newscast. Thank you for joining us today. Again, one of the biggest stories today was the update on the clearing operations or the military operations in Marawi City. The police, members of the PNP Drug Enforcement Group, recovered more illegal drugs after the house-to-house clearing operations of buildings and houses in the main area of Battle. They scoured through 2 abandoned houses occupied by the Maute Group in the early days of the crisis. The owners of these houses, former Marawi Mayor Sultan Fahad Salik and incumbent Vice Mayor Arafat Salik. I'd like to read some of your messages and greet more viewers today. Arnel Violanda, happy viewing to you. To the Chow family in Hong Kong, Lisa Marie Villanueva Filiarca watching from Iloilo City, Vermund Ralios watching from Qatar, Roland Antioch watching from Maryland, Bernard Gutierrez watching from Matnog, Sorsogon, and also Ian Leal Legarda. I believe she's in Singapore right now. I think she's my childhood friend, and we call her Bubut. Good evening to all of you. And also more viewers. Aloha from Hawaii, said Carlo Magbuwal La Forga. And Ronald Cloud watching from Oklahoma. Good evening to you guys. The newsroom's back with more stories. The San Miguel Beermen steal Game 2 in the Commissioner's Cup Finals. Paolo Del Rosario reports.
Game 2 of the PBA Commissioner's Cup Finals is in the books, and it wasn't close at all. The San Miguel Beermen leveled the best-of-7 series at 1 game apiece with a 102-88 thrashing of the TNT Katropa. Initially, it looked like it was TNT who were going to blow out the Beermen after going on a 17-0 run to open the game. But things quickly went south for the Katropa as San Miguel took control of the game in the second quarter. Soon, the San Miguel Beermen were leading by as much as 32 points on the way to an easy win. According to TNT coach Nash Rosella, his team simply lost their composure in the second quarter and never recovered.
I think we lost our focus and composure, especially in the second quarter. Well, this is the PBA. The team that loses composure normally is a team that loses. You have to learn how to take the punches.
For the Beermen, this is a type of performance they want to keep throughout the series, but they know that they will have to deal with some tough TNT adjustments.
I hope masustain namin ito dahil this is a game of adjustment and we will see kung saan kami mag-a-adjust uli dahil hindi pwedeng makampante kami sa game namin ngayon. This is a parang chess match So keep on guarding them, talagang bantayan namin sila kung anong gagawin. And maybe after watching the game on tape siguro we will know kung saan kami pupunta.
The ball is in TNT's court. How do they bounce back after such a dismal outing? We will find out in Game 3 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum on Sunday evening. Paolo Del Rosario, CNN Philippines.
Today we celebrate the feast of St. John the Baptist, and in San Juan, locals are dousing each other with water for the Wata Wata Festival. Rex Remito joined the festivities. Here's his report.
It's a wet day here in San Juan, and no, it's not because of the rainy season. San Juaneños are marking the feast of St. John the Baptist by dousing each other and other people with water. You can see the streets are filled with residents who want to join the fun.
I joined the festivities and obviously I got totally drenched. San Juaneños of all ages are splashing water onto passers-by. They are using water containers or water guns with different colorful styles. Definitely, no one is safe. You must have lots of patience when you pass by San Juan on this day. Otherwise, make sure all the doors of your car are locked and windows closed, as some people will try to open them. A watercade around the streets of San Juan, led by politicians, also doused residents with water. Their parish priest blessed the water from the fire truck, and people who get wet believe they are blessed.
First time ko sumali ngayon!
Ano masabi mo?
Magulo!
Pangilang beses nyo na to sumali dito?
Even these Japanese nationals seemingly took a bath in the middle of the basaan. The festival is a recreation of the baptism of Jesus Christ by St. John the Baptist in the River Jordan. While San Juaneños celebrate this tradition to douse others with water, there are some rules to follow. Only clean water is allowed. Ice-cold water or hot water is not allowed for the festivities. There are also lots of activities here. Residents join the street dancing competition and Santong Tao float parade.
If you're going to work or aren't ready to get wet, do make sure to avoid the city of San Juan every June 24th. Otherwise, go to this place and have some fun by wetting yourself at the araw ng San Juan. Rex Remigio, CNN Philippines.
Good for Rex. He really needed a bath today. More celebrations of the Feast of St. John the Baptist in the country. In Balayan, Batangas, residents celebrate the feast by splashing water to revelers during its parada ng lechon or the parade of roasted pigs. The splashing of water represents Christ's baptism. People in a village in Nueva Ecija marked the celebration by covering themselves in mud and wearing costumes made of dried banana leaves. It is said that this tradition represents the way John the Baptist disguised himself when he baptized Jesus Christ. Showbiz now, celebrity doctors Hayden Ko and Vicky Bello have tied the knot. In an Instagram post just hours ago, Bello says she feels joyful and free being married. She also thanks Makati Mayor Abby Binay for officiating their civil wedding. Ko also posted a photo on Instagram. The caption has the hashtag officially off the market. The celebrity couple who were engaged in 2010 first told our Mitzi Borromeo about their plans of a church wedding this year.
Definitely, we will go to the next phase of our lives.
So we know the wedding is coming. We just don't know when.
Tell you when.
Fine, yes.
That's what's happening in the newsroom this Saturday, June 24th. I'm Maida.